Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Bad mail.
Now
Thank
let's
you.
start the show.
Thank you. What's the deal with the Nintendo Switchuation? Basically, there's another thing rambling about Nintendo Switch 2 and stuff, so feel free to leave this one if you don't give a fuck. I understand. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about. My wide variety of topics is quickly becoming food and video games and weird phrases. What a great show this has become. How does he do so many episodes about nothing? Who knows? It's like I put Seinfeld to shame. But like the thing is, like, there's a lot of stuff around the Switch 2 right now. I guess I want to kind of talk about some of that, and just kind of some of my thoughts on these things. So there's a few things to bring up that I've been aware of, and I'm doing my best to just tell you as I see it. I don't know how much of this necessarily certain things are verified or not. I'm making speculations, whatever. I'm not an expert. You go to good sources for that. I'm just a dude saying thoughts and hoping you guys will kind of listen and talk back with me. Okay, so one of the things here with Switch 2, I guess, is that I feel like the big thing I initially wrote down to talk about was this thing they're doing with games where essentially there's these problems with used games. A lot of people are getting used Switch games, and other people basically have, like, dumped the ROMs of them onto their systems before selling the games so they can still play them. But you can't play because they have like a game ID, so you can't play them at the same time on the Nintendo Network and stuff as somebody else playing it. So if they're both active at the same time, it'll like ban your account, and you have to like appeal to Nintendo to like get unbanned, to be like, no, I own this game, this is mine. And people are not happy about that, understandably so, because it's like, well, then I can't buy used games if I might get locked out on my goddamn account. Especially since it's retroactive. So if you have like Switch 1 games, and you got them used a while ago before this was even a thing, well, now you might just be fucked and be like, I bought it, and Nintendo will be like, prove it. Prove it, asshole. And I think if that becomes a widespread issue, I don't know if that it has, just know it's a thing and people are upset about it. But if it becomes a widespread issue, obviously Nintendo has to kind of change that to fight piracy a different way. I guess I don't know how rampant that issue is or how much it's affecting Nintendo's bottom line. I don't know that they need to go that hard on it, and if it is a huge problem, they are going to have to pull that back. It's not going to be good PR. That does sound like a problem. I think that, people have kind of gotten over the price shock of the system itself and be like, no, the hardware is probably worth the money. What has to go into it, that's actually reasonable. It's not bad, especially since, actually, it seems even better in the sense that, like, the Switch 2 prices have stayed, but they bumped up the price on, like, the older Switch models for, Switch and the Switch Lite and the OLED Switch. You could get an OLED Switch for, like, what, like $350 now? It's like $400 now. So you pay like 50 more bucks, you can just get a Switch 2, and it's going to be like way better. Why not? So that's a really weird thing that those prices are going up instead of down, or at least stagnating when they should, because they should be going down. Because they're old and they're being replaced. So it's kind of weird that that's a thing. But I guess they know the market is like, people do wait to get them, so maybe they're just holding on to be like, people are going to get them now. Well, fuckers aren't going to get them now if they're going up in price. Like, well, I was waiting for the price to drop, so they're not going to do it now. So I don't know how that's going to shake down either. That's, if you can find like a Switch Lite for like, $150 or something, like, that's a pretty nice deal for a gaming handheld. There's a lot of stuff you could play on there. I think that's a good deal, but I don't know where you're going to find that because it ain't going to be brand new from Nintendo. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. That the idea, and some other consoles have had their prices raised recently as well too, like PlayStation ones I think have, and it's like, the prices of these things should be going down, not up, but I guess the price of everything is kind of going up, so they're probably going along with that, but it still looks bad for something for the prices should be going down. At very least, they should be holding, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. I feel like their price reduction is just going to bring them back down to where they were before when they do finally reduce them. There's I believe the hardware for Switch 2 did go get pricier too, and the software is the problem. People are mad that the games are costing so much money. People are, $80 for, and not every game is going to be $80 probably, but a lot of them, they're looking at like the new game price is going to be $80, and people don't like that, especially for Mario Kart, which is a huge seller. So I understand why Nintendo would sell it for that because it will go. And you don't think of it as being a big name, but like Mario Kart sold the most on like one of the best selling games on like most consoles, right? That Nintendo's put out. So yeah, it makes sense to do that. To make a lot of money doing that. And the Switch 2 is sold incredibly well too. So Nintendo's like making ample money off of these, I imagine, unless they're selling the Switch 2 at a total loss, but still. They're I don't know. Like people are mad about that stuff. People are mad about the game key card thing, which is like, I will quick say, yeah, I do think game prices being high. Yeah, that is a problem. If you get priced out of games, it's gonna be harder to like, want to buy you if you way more selective what you get, and it's going to put more pressure on games to be these huge things, and we're just going to we're going to kind of kill the market for like, we're either going to have a bunch of really shitty cheap games, and we're going to have a bunch of really big budget like super huge games, and the middle that would normally have like some really cool like average length and like pretty fun games and stuff to tide you over and everything are just going to be gone. I think the market's going to kind of get eaten by that, and like it's going to shift a lot of people over to indie games. Is going to shift to people like over to like getting, I think, especially with all consoles having like a lot of problems right now in that industry, I think a lot of people are going to start looking at playing stuff on PC, playing stuff on particularly handheld PCs as well, to kind of play something like a Switch and have it be maybe a hybrid thing or something, if not just directly on a PC itself, and like just having all their games there for better prices, and like if they have to go digital anyways and stuff, because that's another thing too, is like a digital thing, or it's like they have the game key cards Nintendo was doing, where basically they'll give you a physical game card thing, but this all it's going to have is a key on it that basically unlocks or whatever. So like you can like use that to play your game. So you still have to put the card in to play the game, but like you could also sell it or trade it or whatever, and somebody else could still use it. So it's kind of like a tradable, sellable digital game that still has a physical presence. Obviously the concerns with that are game ownership. How long is that gonna, is there basically, there's gonna be an expiration date on that essentially, because it's like, well, once the servers are down, like you're not really going to be able to play again, are you? And I guess I still don't know, because Nintendo's been kind of tight-lipped with some of their information, or not making it super easily available. So it's like, I don't know if the checks like every time you put the game in, if it checks the key to make sure like it has to do a server check there, or if you can like put it in and it downloads the game, and so like it's just checking to make sure that you're using the right key to access the game you downloaded. I don't know which way that works. If it's the latter, it's doable if you keep it, but you can't sell it after those servers are down. If it's the former, then yeah, as soon as those servers are down, the thing you have is nothing, and that's going to be bad. I assume they'd probably put something in place, end of life thing, to like just make it a regular digital game, but you might as well just get digital games at that point. It's kind of an unhappy medium after that point. That's why people are upset about like no ownership and it's still costing money and whatever. I'm more upset about the idea that they don't make it super clear. They have it on the boxes. They have a banner on there to say that that's, a thing. It's like already a little bit confusing for some stuff, like Nintendo Switch 2 edition, and there's like, different banners and things to look for. But there's like a little banner that's like, this game has a download you have to do. It's a key. You're just buying a key in a box. It's not a code in a box. You're buying a code on a cart in a box. And then they got the fucking like, I don't know, like I feel like they should have that up front and center whenever a game is announced or whatever. It's like, hey, here's this game. Here's the game key card. Say that right away. Don't be like, when you get a physical version, it's like, make us wait to be like, which is it? And have to wait for somebody to confirm it on like a leak or whatever, or some other bullshit on social media. It's like, just say in the ad immediately if this game is that. So people want to know that. That's good to know. And they got the whole fucking like, they also tried, the tech demo, Nintendo Switch 2 World Tour or whatever, Welcome Tour. Yeah, that shit. Fucking A. That's like, they charge money. I mean, I think it's only like $10 or something for that, but like they're charging money for that. It's a digital only thing. Like, at least if it was like a physical game sitting on the shelf, I would get it. I would understand that people would see like, oh, this is a cheap game, I'll buy this. But if it's just digital also, like, they really should pack it in. They really should just give it to you, and then like after the first year or whatever, then make it a thing that they sell. But no, they're just right out of the gate. Like, well, let's charge money for this thing. And like, for this thing, it's not even, as people have pointed out, not really that fun of a game. As a game, it is pretty much just a boring ass tech demo. So it's like, okay, well, that probably could have just been part of the thing. People are probably just going to pass on it once they hear that. So, I think that even like the price though, like I said, Nintendo's been like Nintendo's very like tight-lipped about some of the stuff and been like, here's what we want you to see and stuff we don't want you to see, like backwards compatibility. It's like it's not 100% backwards compatible. We're not making the list super easy to just find or like presenting it to you somewhere. You have to go and like go out of your way to get to it. The price of the system, when they did the trailer to announce the Switch 2 and stuff, they never said the price of the fucking system in the trailer stuff either. You had to go to the site and go find how much it actually cost, which is weird also. So I feel like Nintendo is just playing some really weird games with us right now, and I don't know. I feel like they're in a confident spot because they have, they're selling well and everything. They have like this beefy console. Basically, they were playing catch up already, so like their stuff is going to be like on par with like probably PS4, Xbox, One levels of stuff, but with handheld stuff too. Probably a bit better than those in certain respects as well, but the competition is kind of out here that they're the ones who have to kind of show something to keep going forward, whereas Nintendo at least has a leap there. And they're leaning heavily on like, you lay all your bunch of your Switch 1 games on the Switch 2, and you can, there's third-party games coming to them, which is like, if you've already got, if you already have another system or something, you're not going to go from like Sony or Microsoft to Nintendo to play games you could already play like last generation. You're not going to do that. You're going to do it for Nintendo exclusives, of which right now I guess like basically they want you to come in if you don't already have a Switch. Mostly too for that. I don't know. Like they're leaning heavily on the third-party ports and that's for to please Nintendo only fans who haven't had access to those, and they're like also the backwards compatibility because Nintendo fans are be able to keep playing those games on there, and that's why you've only seen like so far like Mario Kart World and like Donkey Kong Bonanza are the only ones that have like really come out yet. And so people have kind of voiced this thing of like this is underwhelming. A lot of things seem kind of like vicious and mean, like anti-consumer stuff, very concerning for the future of how games are going to work and prices are going to be and what it's going to be like. A lot of people hemming and hawing if they want to get it or not, and I will just quickly reiterate that, like, as far as for me, there are a few things that would make me get a Switch 2, and those really haven't changed. I haven't felt the need to make tons of post videos about that multiple times over. Basically, it's still the same thing, but if you're curious and you didn't know this already, for me, Splatoon 4 and my friends getting it, then I'll probably get it, right? That's kind of what it's going to take for me to move over to it. Or if, my Switch breaks, I'll probably just upgrade to the Switch 2 and start playing on that. And, Banjo 3, if that somehow comes out as an exclusive for Switch 2, of course, I'll get that. So some of these things are more likely than others to happen, as you can tell, but I don't know. I guess the whole thing is, like, I guess all I want to say for some of this stuff here, too, is also a rumor, another one I've heard recently, that they're, like, Nintendo hasn't been sending out dev kits for the Switch 2 to third-party developers, which sounds weird. Why would they do that? I don't know. But again, I don't know how true that is or to what extent or whatever, so I don't want to say too much on that. But basically what I'm getting at here is that Nintendo is, I don't know, with the Switch 2 situation and everything, I get it. I understand why people are not happy or underwhelmed or, they're questioning things on the fence. I get it. There are plenty of people who are out here that are totally happy with the system too. But I do feel like I've seen a lot of hate for this system because of a lot of the business stuff around it. And that's kind of sad because I do think the system itself is probably really good. Just nobody wants to deal with all of the extra bullshit around it that they don't want and they won't like. But that's I think that's really all I had to say about that. Not like I'm not too smart and eloquent with all the shit I'm trying to say here. But that's my 2 cents. My 2 cents for 20 minutes of yapping at you. And I don't know. Well, what do you guys think right now? What are your positions on the Switch 2 currently? I guess getting a check-in on that right now. What would it take for you to get one? What is going to make it so you don't want one or whatever? Like, that kind of stuff. How you feel about it. How you feel about the business stuff on there and all that shit. That'd be interesting to hear. But, yeah. I think I just wanted to kind of cover a bunch of those, especially right now, because it's still kind of like some of this is still kind of current. I'm sure more stuff's going to come out too, but I'll try not to, do 12 videos of each individual thing that comes out. Try to lump them a bit more. I do think that all I'm trying to say is I understand a lot of the underwhelming and the the like caution and like the panic and all this other stuff. I understand a lot of the negativity around the Switch too. Even if there's a lot of stuff that like is still pretty positive about it, I think that like these things are worth thinking about, talking about, addressing these concerns. I get it. So that was kind of the whole thing. So hopefully that covers the quota for a few months or a year or whatever. before something major happens with it. Yeah. Also, is anybody using the fuck? If you have a Switch 2, are you using the chat stuff much with like the camera and the voice chat and like the fucking like? Are you using that instead of probably a far superior experience on Discord or something? Like, let me know. I'd be interested. Because as far as I know, no one's really talking about using that, and I think there's a good reason why. Because even in the demo of them doing it, their actual demo for their advertisement was like, that looks rough. That's probably under best conditions that you're gonna get. So I can't imagine unless they patch it to make it better by now. I don't think that's selling it. Even if I like the controller with a headphone jack in it, that sounds good. It looks like a good controller. I don't think it's worth all the other stupid features to upgrade to that. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and things and stuff, whatever, and fuck in the comments. What's the